Did we all pick different flavors? How good? Show the camera.
Yeah, I totally didn't curate that on
This
purpose
episode
because I'm
of-
a genius.
This episode of the CAYACast brought to you by Brooks. Woo! Woo! Okay, let's all do a little ASMR.
Ooh.
Wonderful.
And the weather's getting warm,
Oh.
so the salters are hitting extra hard.
Oh. Starts with Brooks. This podcast starts with Brooks. Welcome back to another episode of the CAYACast. Today we are joined by Jared, Gina, I'm Brad, and today we are joined by Ouma Ridard.
Hello.
Welcome.
That's me. Hi, thank you.
Ooms is one of the people who was one of the OG people involved in with CAYA.
Yeah.
While she was a part of art, they co-produced One Shot, which was our first CAYA creative production, I guess, technically. The photographer game show, iconic for the launch of CAYA.
Good times.
But things have changed since then. It's nearly what, a year and a half since we did that kind of thing, there or thereabouts.
Time flies.
Update us and everyone, and particularly the people behind the camera, on what's been going on for the last little while.
Okay, so basically graduated because I was studying graphic design. Yes.
Congrats. We
did
love
the
an educated queen. Jokes, degrees are not the only form of education.
True.
They're very
Which is
overrated.
I studied graphic design at Cape Town Creative Academy.
Okay.
Yeah. Loved it, but I started actually working as a tattoo artist in between my studies, as like a little side hustle, and it grew. Now it's my full-time job. And now I live in CAYA and I work here.
Hallelujah.
This is actually your workspace.
I'm actually,
Yes,
I'm
exactly.
actually a co-worker.
Exactly. Which is cool and full circle and
Totally full circle.
super in line with all of the stuff we kind of talked about.
Literally.
You know, all those.
The whole
It
concept of
feels
CAYA.
like yonks ago
It does.
that we had those conversations.
I looked so different also.
I think we all did.
Yeah, true.
We all,
different
very
colour.
significant.
Yeah.
I think most
Yeah.
people have changed hair color. I think I've been the only one consistent on hair color.
That's actually the next step for you. Let's
Yeah, we got
jazz
to
it
colour,
up a
get
Brad?
bit.
What colour?
bleaching.
What color from you guys? And we're
And the
gonna.
audience, yeah.
What color should I dye my hair?
I've always
Always thought about it, but like the pick
Grey.
is important.
Ooh,
Do you know
I
what
like
I
that. Yeah.
Grey.
Gina hates
Gina's not stoked.
Ash
I'm just
blonde.
interested as to why you said that though.
it. Like a
Silver
silver grey,
fox.
silver fox vibes.
What were
yeah.
you gonna think? Like pink or green? Or
No,
blue?
I was still thinking. But that's just, I don't know. Okay. Change of topic.
I'll take your vote later. But in the meantime, people, if you have votes on what color I should do my hair,
Yes.
pop them in the comments below.
Yeah.
So coming back to the side hustle of tattooing.
Yes.
Where did that journey
did it-
begin? Yeah.
So it all began in my grandmother's house. It sounds like a
Okay.
joke, but it's true.
Very specific.
I had very little to do. She lives in a village in the middle of nowhere in the south of France. And I was like, I want tattoos, but I don't have money. So what does one do when they want tattoos and they don't have money? They DIY.
There you go.
So that's what I did. And yeah.
Was this in like lockdown or was
No,
it,
this was a
way
long time
before?
ago. It was like
Oh, okay.
2018. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, yeah, just tattooed myself. And then a few of my friends started asking me to tattoo them. And then I moved to Cape Town. And then, yeah, as we all know, I think Cape Town is like peak location for like any small business to thrive. So I just like started an Instagram page kind of for the lols, and then kind of just grew
Mm.
into what it is today. Yeah. I
Yeah.
used to offer tattoos for 100 Rand and people used to jump on that.
Yeah, I can
Mm.
imagine.
Real quick.
People
Yeah.
right now would jump on that like
yeah,
a,
if I did that now, yeah, I wouldn't. Sorry, guys.
I feel like you've tattooed like half of Cape Town, because I always meet people, if they have a tattoo, like odds are pretty good one of them is yours, and they
I'm
love it.
starting my cult.
amen to that. What do you love the most about tattooing people?
Honestly, okay, first of all, I love tattoos. I've always loved tattoos. I started getting them from the age of like 15. So I'm obsessed. I think it's such a great way of like expressing yourself. But doing it for myself, I think what I love the most is the connections I make with the people I tattoo. Like I love talking to people. You guys have probably noticed already. I talk so
Yeah.
much.
What?
I just love meeting new people. Like it's such an interesting way to get to know different stories and like just like different things that people do, you know? Like you don't often meet people all the time, depending on what job you have. But with tattooing, it's like I meet people from all different phases of life and ages and whatever. It's so nice. It's such a cool way. Like some of my best friends I actually met through tattooing.
That's
wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like you have a session and at the end you're kind of cool. Do you want to like meet up for coffee?
Do you want to hang out?
Can we be friends?
That's beautiful
Yeah.
though. That's very, very special.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of your own tattoos. But you've also had tattoos by other people. What's as a tattoo artist, what do you look like? What do you look for in someone who you're gonna get to do a tattoo
Good
for
question.
Yeah, very good question. I think today you have so much choice as to who you can go to, and also like because of social media, every tattoo artist has their portfolio online, so it's really easy to go and look for someone who has what you're looking for. Like back in the day, you kind of just went to someone and you just hoped for the best, you know? Whereas now you can like really go stalk them. Like I have people come and they're like, yeah, I went down to like 2019. And I'm like, that's not a good idea. They weren't great then. You know, they've gotten better now. But yeah, you just look for someone. I think you kind of like try and suss out their vibe and also their style. Like I think I now go for like bigger pieces. So I tend to just go for someone who I like their like aesthetic and what they do. I know that a lot of the people who come to me, sometimes they're like, yeah, I came because your vibe seems cool. Because I guess I show kind of like my vibe and people are like, you seem nice. So it depends what you're looking for. Like, do you want someone chilled or do you want someone to like give you like a big tiger tattoo, you know?
Yeah, I think it's also like the whole experience. You don't want just the end product to be really nice. I think that's why people consider the vibe of the tattoo artist.
Yeah, it's so important because you remember it forever. Like,
exactly.
It's on you.
Yeah, I think the way it gets done is as much of the story and the
So
relevance
true.
as what's on your skin,
So
if not.
true. I think a lot
more.
of like commercial tattoo artists kind of forget that sometimes, and sometimes people have bad experiences in parlors and stuff because it's kind of just like quick, get it done,
Just
sort it out.
repetitive
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Whereas I'm like, I have so many tattoos, but I remember every tattoo artist I went to, even
That's
if it was like a random one in like Cambodia. Like I remember the experience. He has no clue who I am,
Yeah.
but I remember you. It was fine.
Have you ever gotten like a drunk
I was gonna
tattoo
ask
for whim, like walking down the street, like
No.
in Cambodia? Like, oh, why
I
not?
haven't done that. I wanted to, but also I don't think that really like actually happens. I don't know. I have a theory
Like-
that people who say that lie.
Like in the Hangover movie when they
Yeah,
doesn't
like-
happen. Okay.
As a tattoo artist, you shouldn't tattoo someone who's drunk. I wouldn't.
I went to Thailand and then they have in Phuket they have this party road
Mm.
and there's like 7 tattoo parlors in this road.
Yeah,
So,
okay,
I
but
mean,
Thailand's a different breed of
Yeah.
like things. But here, like, I would not tattoo someone who's drunk unless it's my friend.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but I've never gotten. No, haven't
Yeah.
Neither. Either
given.
Or gotten.
Don't think so. I've been high and I've given a tattoo, but again to a friend.
or. Okay.
They knew
But I mean
it
some
was consensual.
some people like function of being high and
True.
you know,
I
getting there-
don't.
getting
It was a horrible tattoo.
No, it was actually
No, I'm
actually good.
teasing.
I'm good at what I do.
It would just be funny.
So you were speaking about your grandma's house in the south of France and saying you moved to Cape Town.
Mm.
So does that mean you're not from?
No,
Where you,
shock.
where are you from?
I'm French.
But like full on.
Full French.
Your accent sounds
Thank
very
you.
not
Something.
Cape Townian, but definitely South African.
No, I'm so French.
Damn, that's crazy.
Legally. That's what I say. I'm French legally.
Mm.
In my heart, I'm South African.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I kind of moved around from when I was 4.
Okay.
I lived
so
in Botswana, South Africa, France.
Okay,
that makes
that
more
makes
sense.
sense.
Botswana, South Africa,
Yeah.
France. Yeah, that's where the
you
accent
just
comes from.
assimilated
No.
into our
Really
culture in
well.
like
No,
4 years.
the French accent is probably one of the hardest to like catch on, like release rather. Let go
Okay.
of. Yeah. Yeah.
Botswana, South Africa, France.
Mm. My little triangle of living.
That's an interesting triangle of
Yeah.
living.
It's gone 3 times.
Okay. I find it fascinating when
Why?
people have lived in not in such like different cultural spaces,
Mm.
and have traveled. And I'm trying to figure out how I want to word this. Quite a complex question that covers a bunch of things. What have been the most interesting thing, the most kind of interesting common things about people between the
each-
3 spaces?
Ooh. That's a difficult question. I don't know if I can really pinpoint that. I feel like each country has its cliche, but at the same time, like, excuse me, like we all know South Africa is different completely between like Cape Town versus Joburg versus like Nelspruit, which is where I went to high school. Haha. Like the people are so different. Like there's no, I don't know. There's no like way of.
There's no like
Paris
thread that connects us
South
as
of France,
humans.
miles apart. Like there's similarities. Like
Well, that's what I mean.
Paris and Cape Town. Nah, that's a lie. It's not similar. Okay, Paris. That's its own thing. Cape Town and like some other vibey place. I don't know. I love Cape Town. And like south of France and like Nelspruit, you know, it's like similar vibes. Like
Okay.
small town village, like more or less, more close-minded, a little bit, you know. Love you guys, but it's the truth.
Interesting.
Yeah, because you've just traveled a lot recently. You can tell the people about that.
Yes.
And me, because we've been waiting for the podcast to have the first discussion. But like, how did you decide you wanted to sort of take a break? Was it like finishing your studies or, you know, start your little like period of adventures?
So yeah, like I said, so I graduated last year and I've been in Cape Town for like 3.5 years. So I came here to study and I've never spent this much time in a place before without leaving. But I've loved it, and like Cape Town is definitely home now, and I'm so glad that we had like COVID because it kind of forced me to stay put, which is nice. But then I basically met these two guys who were traveling around at the start of the year, and they kind of lit up that like fire in me because I love traveling. And I was like listening to their stories and I'm like, ooh, it's been a while since I've done this. Like I kind of want to do that again. And also I hadn't been home in a while, hadn't seen family. So I decided to go back to France and then decided to see if I could work and travel at the same time with tattooing. So that was kind of the idea.
That's clutch.
Yeah.
That's clutch.
I wasn't sure if it was really intimidating to like think of doing that because I'm self-taught and I've only ever worked from home before, never worked with other tattoo artists or anything. So like reaching out to studios in Paris and stuff was like a bit daunting because I was like, hey, I'm just a small girl. Do you want me in your studio? And yeah, when they started saying yes, I was like, huh.
Some good old imposter syndrome.
Big time. When I first got to Paris, I was like, what are you doing? Are you crazy? But now I came back and I'm like, yeah. But yeah, it worked out in Paris and then I was like, well, I'm in Europe, so I may as well keep going. So then I just kind of contacted parlors in like the major cities around and it worked out. So I did like a little Euro tattoo tour.
So what cities did you do?
So I did Paris, London, Amsterdam, Berlin, Barcelona, and then I went to Tel Aviv. But that was like a little sneaky aparté. Okay. And then we also went to Egypt, but it's totally not related to tattooing. That was just me.
Where to start on that list of
Yeah, I'm going to need travel tips because I'm going to Paris and Barcelona.
I can give lots of Barcelona, keep your phone deep in your bag, girl. My phone got stolen.
Oh, they're that good.
They are so
They're
good.
so good.
They are so good. It hurts. Yeah, it happened. It was painful.
But like in a normal,
I had no idea.
Not like claustrophobic people are on you, like talking to you.
No,
like,
it literally just happened like out of nowhere.
Do you even know who it was?
I have no idea. I don't even know when. I know when. I don't even know how. It was in, you know those cases where you have the strap?
Yeah.
They just took the phone out of the strap case thing.
It was like literally like...
I don't even know how it's possible.
That's crazy.
No, they're wildly good.
Yeah, be very careful in Barcelona. Okay. Paris, I'll give you all the tips.
Stunning.
Apparently people in Paris are rude.
Okay,
I mean, like,
here's my
rude
thing.
everywhere.
Okay,
but like,
we're going to make this public because everyone tells me this.
Okay.
When you travel to a new country, whether it's France or any other, because I know people always say the French people are rude. Like French people can be rude. That's true. However, I think that a lot of people who say that are people who speak English and they don't even try and speak any kind of French to them. If you go up to someone and you say like, bonjour, sorry, please, can you help me? That person will appreciate it more because you like acknowledge the fact that you're not in like, that you're not, that, what is it? You're not
in
home,
a different
you
country,
know? Like, yeah, there's this thing with English speaking people that they just assume that everyone speaks English. Like, just
at least try.
At least try. Like, learn how to say hello, please, thank you. That's the bare minimum.
Yeah, the fact is, unfortunately, probably most people do, but they don't necessarily appreciate it very much. and they'd
Most
appreciate
people do what?
speak English. Or a lot of like it's been forced on so many people.
Of
that,
course, yeah.
Like yes, in all likelihood, for various unfortunate reasons, people probably do speak English.
Yeah.
But don't
like,
take it like for granted,
yeah.
kind of thing.
It's
Like, just say
showing
hello.
respect. Yeah,
Yeah.
Like-
showing respect. Like you're not in their country, so
Yeah.
I mean you're not in. You're in their country rather. So don't just be like, "Hi, can I have a coffee?" It's like, "Bonjour, can I have a coffee?" Very simple.
How would you say that?
Yes.
In French.
Good tips.
Should I do it in a nice like French
Yes.
voice?
Yeah.
Okay. Bonjour. Est-ce que je pourrais avoir un café, s'il vous plaît?
Damn.
Thanks.
We all looked at Kyra who has headphones on
ASMR French.
to verify that it was.
So obviously at the moment you're like primarily focusing on tattooing, but as a creative, like your talents extend beyond.
Ooh.
How would you describe yourself and sort of what you're interested beyond tattooing? Obviously you did graphic design and you do photography.
Yeah, I want to do everything. That's my problem. I think all
Yeah.
like a lot of creatives struggle with that. They're like, I want to do this and this and this and this, and it's like you can never focus on one.
Yeah, it's
Luckily-
to spread the energy.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah.
Luckily, the last like year or so has been very much focused on tattooing, and I think that's like shown in the business growing and like becoming what it is. I do definitely want to like start including more of my old stuff back in though, because I do miss it. Like photography was a big part of my life, and I haven't done it in so long. But also like uni killed that. Like the last part of uni, those last projects, like after that, you're like, I'm not touching a camera anymore.
I know. It's
But yeah, definitely would love to bring that back in. I want to go like back into content creation with like brands and stuff. Like I love branding, like making a brand come to life. That's so cool.
Do you have TikTok?
I do. But it's love-hate relationship with that one.
Yeah.
Do you use it for work, like for
No.
tattooing stuff, or just?
Well, there's both on there. I like tried using it for work while I was in Europe because Instagram hates my tattoo account and they do everything they can to not show me to anyone.
That's
So
why. You know what? Did you
because I'm very sexually explicit apparently.
Yeah, the skin
No,
that
it's
the
not-
tattoos
yeah, it's
go on is just too
I know
much.
it's so much. The
Too
skin,
much.
and also drawings of naked women. They're like, yeah,
can't do that?
can't show
Can't do
fake boobs, guys.
Not even fake ones
Not
that
even
are
fake ones.
tattooed onto people's
Nope.
skin with such a little level of
Yeah.
detail.
Nope, it's
like
terrible.
realistically.
Yeah, so I dabbled in the TikTok. It's just so much effort. But I'm doing
Yeah.
it now. In the last like 3 days, I've been putting out the reels. It's working.
Okay, yeah.
It's working.
Nice. Yeah.
But it's just not the same. I feel like it's like tattooing is not about the process. Like people want to see the tattoo. They don't care that I'm like
Yeah.
putting on a stencil. They want to see the work at the end.
I mean,
I care.
I feel like there are people who are
But
interested, particularly
I get what
prospective
you
customers.
mean.
True. But I think people who want to see like my work, like if it's moving quick,
Yes.
you know, like they just want
Yeah.
to, can I not just zoom and like really look at your lines and make sure it's nice? You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas in a reel, it's like, oh, okay.
Mm.
It's a mix.
Yeah.
I think you need to be able to balance it. But it's difficult. Like creators are all struggling with social media now. I think we all know this.
Yeah.
Yeah, just about finding like what works and stuff.
And sorry, no, I don't
No,
want to.
I actually forgot what your question was. I don't know if I went.
Oh,
on
do you
a
have TikTok?
rant.
Yeah.
oh,
Sorry.
Very
Went into a
open-ended.
whole thing into social
Yeah.
media.
It's been on my mind
and as
recently.
we should.
Yeah.
What were you
I
gonna-
wanted to know, what is your relationship like with other tattoo artists in Cape Town? Because we often speak about, I guess, like the clickiness, or I don't know,
Mm.
that create like different creative circles can get
Have.
into, and yeah, so
I have none.
okay.
I don't know if that's okay. So I've always like big imposter syndrome a while ago, like before when I was like self-taught and stuff. I didn't know if I could really call myself a tattoo artist because I was like, this is all just me. Then when I went to Europe and I started like socializing with a lot of tattoo artists there, I realized I was like, oh, we all kind of started like this. We all start like, okay, most of us, like obviously a traditional way of learning to tattoo. You go, you like do 5 years in a studio shop. They overwork you, blah, blah, blah. Now it's changing because now you can like buy anything online. So most people are just teaching themselves.
Go on YouTube. Or
Exactly. So then I was like, okay, sick. I am. This is cool. So now coming back, I'm like, would love to meet people. I think that like, you know this. Creatives in Cape Town tend to be cliquey, and it's true. And I don't know if it's like, unless you go into a tattoo parlor to work there, I don't know if there's really that like camaraderie. And I think it's also still very a very specific kind of person that tattoos still, you know, like we all know the main just men.
Okay, well that's interesting.
White men. It's
you
very
still
much
feel
white
it's
men.
dominated by white men.
Yeah, it's changing, but like if you look at all the smaller ones, like all of us who've taught ourselves, like it's becoming a lot more queer, a lot more people of color, a lot more women, which is great. But like the bigger ones are definitely still like that vibe. Yeah. So I don't know anyone, and I don't know if they want to know me. I don't know if they know about me. I think they do. I don't know if they like me, hate me.
I'm pretty sure people know about
Yeah. Do you think it's like also like a competition kind of thing?
Yeah.
Because
which is weird because we all have our different things that we offer.
Yes.
You know, like I don't know.
Do you have a signature like within your tattoos? Little nuance,
like a thing that I put in it,
or like the way you do,
or like my own stuff.
Well, yeah, like your tattoos, like you do a line a specific way, or like I don't know how to explain. You know what I mean?
I mean, I do hand poke, so that's already, I guess, like, and I guess I like my like my own personal work, like my flashes and stuff are all like I like to do bodies, like they're a bit raunchy.
Yeah, so something like that.
Yeah,
so body.
Yeah, bodies. I love bodies, and like recently got into disco and like color and stuff. Yeah, it's like fun stuff. Cool. I like fun and like sexy. Like body positive stuff. That's my vibe.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
That can be the title of the podcast.
Yeah, fun and sexy.
Actually,
fun, sexy disco vibes.
Fun and sexy disco vibes. That's a great podcast title. It definitely prompts question.
Yeah.
On a podcast. Exactly.
Just put it in the title.
Did you look
I do,
like
but I've been asking a lot. So
no, that's okay.
If for somebody watching and they're not really sure about the difference between like hand poke or like machine tattoo, what would you tell them?
Okay, so hand poke, I don't use a machine. That's the simple answer.
Brilliant.
That's it. You get no more advice.
Hand poke, I think, is a lot more chilled. You get to listen to me talk. If you don't want to talk, I can sense it and I stop talking, I promise. And then I put nice music on. There's always nice music playing. But it's a lot more like...
playlists are banging.
Is it? Okay, thank goodness. You know how scary it is to always play the same...
Yes, to play your music.
That's high
to other
praise
people.
from the CAYA office crew there.
Wow, thank you. Because like my clients, I'm like, you guys, it's fine because you're leaving soon. You guys, I'm like, I'm so sorry to hear it. Yeah, I think it's a lot more... It's like just a chilled experience, you know, like we just get to chat. It's also very gentle on the skin. The like outcome at the end can be different. I usually try and make my hand pokes look like they're done with machine in a way. Like I don't like the like ... vibe.
Yes.
Try to make it liney. But that also completely depends on who you go to and stuff. Yeah, it's like it's good for lots of things. If you want like really thick, like big tattoo, then you probably want to get machine. Unless you want to sit with me for like hours. I've done that. We got real close. But yeah, it just takes longer, but it's chilled. It's nice. I like it. Yeah.
I wanted to touch on what you said earlier about it being like whether the tattoo industry is, you know, quite competitive and cliquey or not, and what I'd really like to happen from these kinds of conversations is for people in the tattoo industry who hear that and disagree with you and are like, no, it's not as competitive. It's not as, you know, we are interested in making friends.
Yeah.
Do it.
Do it.
If you disagree with stuff we're talking about community and working together and being more friendly, do it.
Let's be friends.
We'll host a little event.
We'll literally whatever you want.
Yes.
But I'd love that. Like, I think it's so nice I loved getting to know tattoo artists when I was overseas. Like, it was so nice to chat to them about things that I thought I was the only person who thought that. Yes. And then I was like, oh my God, we all think this.
Shared experience.
We all hate tattooing ribs. Don't get your ribs tattooed, guys. I'm kidding, you can, but it's horrible.
What's hard about it?
The skin is just not nice.
Really?
And it's just so awkward. It's awkward for you. It's awkward for me. It's awkward for everyone.
That's crazy. Like, you have a favorite type of skin on someone.
Oh yeah, we love forearms.
Let's get into this.
Guys, give us your forearms any day. Forearms are the best. The skin is gorgeous. And you see, we all agree on that. That's cool. So I like met them and I was like, cool, okay, we all agree on this. It's like also interesting, like the little tattoo gossip, you know, in studios where we're like, that person was a bitch. Kidding, most of the time we don't say that. Unless you are. If you are, then you are. But
if you are, then you are.
Yeah. Yeah, like I always, if people ask me, like, can you do this for me? And if I'm either not available or if it's like not my vibe, I'll always recommend another tattoo artist. because I like know all of the tattoo artists around here, you know. And oftentimes, like one of them messaged me back, it's like, thanks so blah, blah. Thanks so much for recommending me. I'm like, yeah, girl, of course I'm gonna recommend you. Like, I like your stuff. If I can't help them, you help them.
Do you have any go-to local recommendations?
Like of other
For,
tattoo
of
artists?
other tattoo artists that do different stuff?
My tattoo artist is bomb. His name is Wesley van Blurk. He's in Tomb Tattoo. Yo, dream. Also, he's just so nice. Also, Bruce the Kid, also such an angel.
Yeah, that guy's crazy. I've
Yeah.
seen his stuff on Instagram.
Yeah. They're also just nice, you know?
Okay.
Like, I know
thinking
I
about
like
getting a
bitched about like
tattoo.
white men, but like they're nice white men. And
That's
then,
important to say it.
yeah,
They're both
there's-
important points.
Yeah. Another hand poke artist, Alien Stick and Poke. They're really cool. Also queer person of color. I'm like pretty sure. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. It's difficult because we only post our tattoos. Like, but yeah, there's lots. There's also cool. Just go to like the smaller one. No, I actually go to whoever you want. I love them all. But like your small ones, and then are nice also.
What would be obviously a first tattoo is a big thing for people. I've had my first. Gina hasn't had her first
On
yet.
my way.
Jared's had a couple.
I have one.
Have you only got one? I told you.
Sorry, I thought there was a few.
Guys, can you literally have a tattoo artist in your office now?
Well,
I know.
it's-
Well,
then
this
again,
is
you seem booked up. Eh?
yeah.
Okay, that's true. That's true. But I can always make things work for
We've
the
all been
friends.
busy.
Yeah.
What would you say to people about their first tattoo? I'm not going to say whether it's a good, advice or whatever, but what would you say to people about getting their first tattoo?
Okay. There's two different types of people, I think, when they get their first tattoo. Oftentimes, people want to get something super significant and then they wait really long to get it. What I tend to say, significance usually goes away somehow. Like, unless it's someone you like lose, if you lose someone, like that stays. But generally, like a word that really means something to you in 2020, like in 2022, it might not mean anything to you anymore, you know? So, like, don't overthink it. This is me peer pressuring people into getting tattoos. Just get something random. But yeah, like, it's always the first is always so scary. And then you get the first and you're like, oh, chilled.
Yeah.
And then you just get more.
Then you're like, how can I save money here to
Yeah,
get
then you're
my
like,
next tattoo?
I literally have clients who come like monthly.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my regulars are like the real ones. Like I open up bookings and they're there and I'm like, hey girl, good to see you again. Yeah, it's a bit of an addiction. Be careful.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that is I don't think I've been hit by an addiction. I like really liked getting my first tattoo, and I know I'm gonna get more, but
Maybe
it
it's
definitely
because
hasn't
you haven't
been.
come under my needle yet.
Maybe not.
Yes,
So we'll
you need
rectify
to.
that.
You
Yeah,
also
no, I
need yours touched up.
The only problem is I
At
literally
all.
right now I know what like some of my other ones will be, but I'm not sure what I want to get for my second one because I know a few big ones that I want to get at some point, but not like yet.
Yeah.
I
think-
I want the edit to zoom in on Gina's face while I was saying that.
I want a
He said
big
big.
lion on my chest because I'm a man.
Not a
No, a
lion,
bear.
a bear.
You want a bear on your chest?
Well,
That's somewhat more original.
this is a bear claw,
Okay.
and it's just like if
No,
there
I'm
was
just
an
making
animal,
a joke because, you know, the boys love their lion on
Yeah.
their chest.
Get a compass,
100%
Please.
no,
some roses.
a compass, some roses, and an anchor.
I want
Ideally, an anchor going through a heart that says "mum."
Okay, I don't want the anchor
That's a
part.
vibe.
But I want
That's a little bit more
the
original.
like heart with the mom and the arrow because it's ironic but also unironic.
Yes.
Like, I love my mom
yeah.
fuckloads.
I think there's way
But-
too much hate for love, like tattoos of a heart and mum.
No,
That's
I
an
know it's like
OG.
weird. Like a mom is like a
No,
bit like
it
weird.
was,
No, I
it was
love my
bad
mom.
back in the day, but now they've gotten
now it's cool. Exactly.
Yeah, now if you get that, now
oh,
you're cool.
Fuck, maybe when I'm like
Good.
80, it's gonna be like I'm
Same way,
cool again.
guys, I'm trying. If you want a tramp stamp, come to me.
Ooh.
I love them. Bring them back to fashion. Also, we make them look nice now. Like back in the day, they looked shit. Now we can make them look nice.
Gina, the tattoo idea.
First tattoo, tramp stamp. Nice little butterfly.
Maybe not the first one. I have like hips. So I don't
Great.
wear anything like too low waisted.
We
Not
can
that
make
I
it-
can't,
We
but
can
I
position it for a high-waisted tramp stamp. You know, like a 2022 tramp stamp.
we can see. Brad, tramp stamp. Jared, tramp stamp.
I mean, I'll never say no to anything.
I mean, I feel like
A
men
group
are
Kaya tramp stamp.
generally
I love Kaya. In a butterfly.
in a butterfly.
Tramp stamp.
Sure. I mean, Okay, I did.
Iconic.
No, I need some separation at this point, not more.
Yeah, that gets no, that's not work-life balance.
Yes.
That's the antithesis of
It's fine,
work-life
it's on your back.
balance.
You'll never see it.
Yeah.
One thing that we briefly touched on, and it's something that is becoming somewhat of a consistent segment, is on imposter syndrome. But I think it's really important to highlight it all the time because everyone feels it. Everyone we have on feels it, and we've all felt it.
Yeah.
And the question that I asked on the last episode, which I quite like, because asking people their advice on imposter syndrome is difficult to frame because a lot of us are still like, well, I don't know yet. What would you tell someone who was in your shoes or similar 5 years ago and looking to get into the creative industry about believing in themselves?
Okay. We're talking all senses, not just like
not specifically tattooing. If it is, that cool. But what would you tell someone about imposter syndrome?
It's so easy to market yourself like to see yourself lower than what you are. I think it's also hard because the creative industry is very dense. Like there's a lot of us doing a lot of the same thing in a way. Like there's many photographers, there's many this, but no one is you. Like you are you. Shock. But like
a CAYA exclusive.
And like what you bring, like whoever responds to it will respond to it because they want to, because they like what you offer, they like your eye, they like your art, whatever, they like your vibe. Like that's what makes your art cool. Like it might look like something because it's very hard to be original nowadays. Like everything's been done, you know, we're trying our best, but like everything's somewhat similar as much as it's original. Like it's difficult, but you are the person that's like behind your art. So like, I think just like be authentically yourself. Don't try and copy anyone. Don't try and like make yourself be a certain thing. Like just be you. Because also we can all see when people are being fake and that's not nice. And like, yeah, just like be who you are, and then you'll be more proud of your work if it's like actually what you want to do. And like people will see that and then they'll appreciate it and then they'll want to support you. And then I think that also makes you more confident in what you offer because you know that it's like actually genuinely you. Does that make sense? And also believe in yourself. Like everyone's talented. And it's like all about just putting yourself out there. Like just go do it.
Yeah.
Especially if you live in Cape Town, because people here love to support businesses.
Exactly.
Like it's peak area. You can do anything you want. You'll be like, I'm offering toe rings that look like horseshoes, and people are like, sick. Business idea.
Now I want that.
Business idea.
You see what I mean?
If you do horseshoe toe rings or want to launch anything else creative,
We'll support you.
yeah, hit up the CAYA Cafe on Instagram at the CAYA Cafe or at CAYA Creative Studios to promote your product, or at CAYA Creative Productions to do the promotion thereof.
Shameless plug.
Shameless
plug.
Is there anything else?
Anything else?
No, I think that's it for now.
Do you guys think, I mean, it's to everybody, that like imposter syndrome like is worse because there's one access, like way easier access to what people are doing, like on the internet and stuff. You can see what they're doing. And then that there's just like more people, like, I don't know, like 1900 vibes. Do you think people had like as bad imposter syndrome?
No. You can compare yourself to anyone all the time now. Like social media is actually just like a hub of comparison.
Yeah.
And like also there's the whole thing of likes and there's the whole thing of followers and everything. Like sometimes I'll see like such talented photographers with like minimal followers and then like a really average one with like so many followers.
Yeah.
And then take photos that I've seen like thousands of times before, and you're like, it sucks that you're like, good for you. But you're getting so much like visibility for your work, and then this other one is putting in so much work, so much effort, and they're getting so little.
It's not always a reflection of like your talent.
Yeah,
sometimes you just get lucky with the algorithms.
Exactly. And like depending on who you know and everything, like we know that.
That's
especially in
also a
Cape
big
Town, like
part,
who you know changes everything.
What do you? That for me has always been a serious problem that we need to. It's or not a more so just a serious limiting factor of what our creative industry is capable of offering the world, because I think we produce things that are world class.
Oh yeah,
across the board. But I think the fact that, and it's so common because everyone acknowledges it, and we often talk about it on this podcast, but in conversations I have, is that there's so much based in who you know.
Yeah.
horrible question because I don't think there's a good answer. There's a answer that's right or that it's very complex. But what do you think we need to? What do we need to have? What do we need to do to stop that being a major barrier? Because it removes access to success and being able to give that to the world for so many people who just don't happen to, you know, run in a particular social circle. What do we need to do?
I don't know if that's a problem only in Cape Town, to be honest. I feel like that's kind of anywhere. Like, it's just hard. Like, if you don't know people who have, I guess, like the funds and the materials, like getting your projects done. Like, you'll even see in uni, anyone who's like in a creative university, they give you a brief. The person who has like their dad or whoever who has so much money and like all of the equipment, and they'll go and put so much money in this photography thing, and then you see the photos, you're like, whoa. And you're like, I just had 20 rand to buy like a roll of film and I found my friend who wanted to be a model. Like, this is what I can do. So I think it's maybe about maybe the people who have the funds should prioritize looking into like the smaller creators and pushing them out, and also like stopping the whole like, I know you, therefore I'll help you. Like, actually look for talent, not for like who you know. But that's up to them. Like, we can't do much. For us, it's more like, hey, do you want to notice me?
Yeah, I think it's like people should use their influence. To boost the other people up. Like, show that talent. And also, it's all like, we have to reach out also to like anyone who's not in the creative field. Like, it's up to you. I don't know who's listening to this, but I'm sure a lot of you are not in the creative field. Like, you should share the things of the people that you like seeing. Like, that's putting the small creators out there, like, being involved in, that's how we get bigger. It's through like visibility. Yeah. And like now social media is so important. So it's literally, or like push the content that you like and help it be seen.
Yeah. People just see what people like. Support of creatives is all that matters. Yeah. And we have this, you know, thing of wanting to change our framing and not be consuming so much purely American, you know, and that particular viewpoint. And like, there is without a doubt enough talent and access to supporting that talent in this country in whatever you're interested in. Yeah. I quite confidently guarantee that you could fill your entertainment and consumption schedule pretty damn well with world-class creatives that are South African and that are local, South African and African, and you know, and that I'm not saying don't support bands or artists or whatever that you like overseas, obviously, but like people sharing, and we talk about it all the time, but it's like, if you have friends in the creative industry, if you have friends who are starting a business, if you have friends, even if you can't afford to buy their shit, literally. Which like, that's understandable. We're in a recession, people. Nobody's got money for jack shit. That's understandable. But like, just sharing people's stuff is so valuable.
It makes such a big difference.
And like, why wouldn't you? Like,
and it costs you nothing.
You nothing.
And if you want to see people
like Kylie Jenner on the story,
or
for
Kim
what?
Kardashian's new makeup,
and they won't post your like 20-second reel.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, if you like what you see, if you like what I'm doing, like, share it. All of us. Like, the talent in this freaking city. This is why. So I was scared of not wanting to come back to Cape Town when I went traveling, right? Because Europe is cool. But honestly, I miss Cape Town's home. And this place is great. Like, I know people here complain about stuff. Like, there's always shit going wrong in every place. Cape Town's amazing. And it's boosting with talent and, like, creativity. Like, it's thriving. And that's amazing. Like, anyone you meet here has a small business. How cool is that? Most people. Like, you'll talk to anyone. They're like, yeah, I do this. I have friends in Europe. You ask them what they do nothing. They just smoke cigarettes and like drink. That's great.
Smoke cigarettes.
But like, everyone's so fucking creative and they want to create. So like, support the people who want to create, because we have, like you said, so much talent. So much. Like,
I wonder who that is. Thanks, Dury.
Whoever it is going to have to.
Like, clothing.
It could be my hard drive. Can you sign for it? Thanks.
Whether it's clothing, art, anything, music, videography, photography. That's mostly what I know. Like, I'm sure that there's a lot more, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that covers a bunch of the major ones.
Yeah.
Artists.
Like, so
in
cool.
every shape and form. And
And like take the time to go looking for those things as well. Like it's there, you know, like go to the local comedy club, like go to anything. There's always things happening around here. Like it's just about doing it. Also, sometimes people are like, oh, there's nothing to do in Cape Town. There's so much to do. There's always something happening anyway, all the time.
For whatever you're interested in.
Yeah, like for like 10 Rand, 50 Rand. And also sometimes people don't want to spend money and like exhibit, like spend that little 50 Rand of your coffee that you won't get on Monday will literally make someone's day because you went to see what they're doing.
Yes.
Like it's
Agreed.
a world of a difference. Like it means so much to us. Like any kind of support, always.
Yeah. We've spoken about this, I think, a few times in the last few episodes, how people don't want to pay for like going to an event to support like creatives, but will like spend so much on bar tab or like literally do anything they can to get free entry. And like it is really nice. Like sometimes it is nice, but the like support means so much. Like you don't realize.
Yeah.
I mean, like hopefully the money's going to the right person, but like, you know, buy tickets to the gig. You're supporting an artist.
Exactly.
Like if you want to consume
exactly
the art.
Also support your friends. This is a side topic, but I often see people like, you know, if your friend has a business, they suddenly think that they can get your service for free. Don't do that. Just because it's your friend does not mean it should be for free. The opposite, you should want to support your friend even more.
Yeah.
It'd be like full
That's
price.
a weird,
That's
that's
a
a weird
discount,
thing.
bitch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Off a
Like-
discount, no.
Yeah. Like if I want to give you a discount, sure, but don't ask me for something for free.
I think that's a very important distinction as well, because I like making my services or you know whatever, and we'll sometimes make decisions to make our services as a group more affordable to people that we really want to work with, and that's our prerogative. And like I like being able to do that, but once someone asks you unsolicited, that's it. And I don't think people understand how incredibly uncomfortable that position is unless you've been in that position.
Yeah.
Because especially if it is a friend, if it is someone or
It's-
someone you know want to like you professionally, personally, there's so many different reasons. That's an incredibly uncomfortable position to be in. Even like, you know, even if you were going to offer it to them anyways, almost to that degree where it's like, it just very, and there's almost no way to say no to that.
Yeah.
It's a very hard thing to, because then you go, oh no, and they're like,
Then it's awkward.
and all of a sudden you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
It's just a very uncomfortable position to
Also,
put
there's
people
a
in.
reason
Please
things
don't
have
do it.
prices, and I think this is such a hard thing in like any creative of like pricing yourself. Like I know I can speak on like videography, photography, tattooing, even. Like you're scared to market yourself the way you should, but like if this is your job, this is your time, your energy spent. Like unfortunately, the world revolves around money. Like the time I put in, it's like it's what you get, kind of thing. And like, don't try and bargain things. Like if someone tells you my price is this for this, like that's what it is, you know? And like respect that because it's their craft. Like we worked on this to like make it what it is today.
Yeah, it's the creative industry. I almost guarantee you we're not making too much money.
Literally, like, and
we're
also it's not
really
like I'm
not
just
ripping
doing
you
this.
off.
Like videographers, I look at like the work of videographers is the amount of time that goes into that stuff, guys. Like, and I know people always try and just like scavenge a little bit of extra. Like, just pay.
Yeah.
I don't know why this got to money, but like, I don't know. Just support your friends. Support
Everything
the
gets to
businesses.
money.
It's an important
true.
conversation.
all
and
rooted in capitalism.
Yeah.
And gut
Like
health.
especially if you're not working in like an entrepreneurship kind of thing. Like if someone gives you a price themselves, that's what they see themselves valued at.
yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
if you get a monthly salary, that's nice. We don't. We're like working, you know? Like
Yeah.
it's a difficult thing to market yourself.
Yeah. And it's, yeah, I feel also it's, you know, the product may not, like it's a creative, it's subjective, objective. I always try and do this on podcasts and I stuff it up. Like often the product is something that is subjective in its value. That's right. I think.
Subjective.
Like that different people will see it differently. And that is the reality of the creative industry and the reality of working with a group of people who are putting together a creative product. It might not look exactly the way that you envision it, but that is that's the nature of being in the creative industry, is that it is subjective. And people, I think, yeah. And for people both who are purchasing or supporting and for people in the creative industry, it's super important to acknowledge that the value in creative wherever it is in the imperfection.
Mm-hmm.
The value of
Yeah.
a creative, the value of art. Like art is, I forget whose quote it is, but it's very famous. About art being like the art is in the imperfection.
Mm. I feel like it's
Computers
Andy.
can generate things perfectly, and
Exactly, we're not
we know
robots.
that doesn't. We don't see it the same way,
Yeah.
and like neurologically, you don't see it the same way.
Mm.
And there's like that for me is fairly intangible proof. It's
Yeah.
you know, that's where the value is. And as a creative, you know, while you're dealing with imposter syndrome, while you're learning, while you're coming up,
Mm.
you know, it's important to be, obviously you don't want to be imperfect, and you want to try and make things as good as possible, as much as possible,
Yeah.
but you'll never get it right ever. It's
No.
impossible to do a creative thing
Yeah.
perfectly,
Yeah.
because the beauty and the art is in the imperfection.
Also, we're our biggest critiques. Like,
Yeah.
we'll always think
No one
our
else will
stuff
see
is-
that thing that you see.
Yeah. It was like there's that one problem there. And it's like no one can see that.
Yeah.
You're the only one like overanalyzing your work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know how everyone's scared about everything becoming like automated now and robots taking over?
Mm.
Do you think that'll happen in the
With
tattoo
tattooing?
industry?
Oh
That's
my
a question that a lot of
gosh.
people ask me. And like, so some people ask me like, do you think one day there'll be that like a machine, like a printing machine that just like the
Tap
tattoo on? I think personally, I think that would remove the whole point of getting a tattoo. Like if you're just getting a tattoo to get like a tattoo on you and you just want it to be like done,
Mm.
why? Like you're wasting the whole like we were talking about earlier, like
Experience.
the experience. Like you have to go through some kind of like pain. I put this lightly, guys. It's not actually painful, but like it's an experience. You go, you say hi, you like explain what you want your tattoo artist. They design it for you. You come into their space. They give you a certain vibe. You talk about whatever you want to talk about. Have a little therapy session. Leave with a tattoo. And then when people ask you like, "How is your tattoo?" It's not like, "Oh, look, it looks cool." It's like, "Yeah, it was good. Like the person was nice," and like that would just you just lose out on the whole experience.
Fair enough.
Like I can understand the appeal for people who don't really like the art of tattooing and they just want like a random tattoo.
Mm.
But I think if you appreciate the art of it, like you appreciate that there's a human behind it that puts in the work, that's concentrated on what they're doing, and like it's their art piece on you, you know, forever. Like,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Because they are like temp tattoos now that last for like 3 months or 6 months.
Yeah.
And they just like stick it on or something like that.
if you don't want a tattoo to last forever, then just don't get one.
Yeah. Fair enough. Exactly.
Like they're there to be they're part of you. They're literally a part of your story. Like I have tattoos, I wouldn't get them today.
If you had.
I don't regret them. I wouldn't get them again.
Yeah, makes sense.
But I love them. And like they take me back to that time in my life, you know. I had my basic Pinterest bitch era. She's there. I'm past it now. But she's there. Like everything literally all of them have a story. I have so many, but you can ask me about any of them, they all have a story.
So like, does each like part of your body have a different like era? Like when you're going through one period of time, you're like, oh fuck, I'm doing this
Whoops.
Uh-huh.
leg, or
No, I choose where there's space at this point. I have one space like dedicated to my friends, like the bottom of my foot here. I let my friends tattoo me.
okay,
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
people with no experience.
Yes. And that's usually when we're
That's so
high.
exciting.
That's so cool.
Or like, yeah, something like that. Yeah. I love it. It's probably my favorite. Some of them they're actually pretty old fine, yeah.
Nice. I'm
We
sure they had
fixed
good
one.
guidance.
One was bad. One was
Really?
bad. But we fixed it recently.
I think to wrap up, because we need to wrap up soon, do you want to show us your latest tattoo?
If you can.
If you can, yeah.
My latest
Stop
tattoo.
stripping.
Okay.
If-
It's small, it's a baby one.
Cute.
Are you gonna zoom into it?
Yeah, well,
We can in
Take a
post.
photo.
or just do it now. I don't know if you can remember your framing.
It's a smoking camel. It's a matching tattoo with one of my really good friends. And we got it because we went to Egypt and we smoked a lot of weed in Egypt.
Okay.
That's quite cool.
This is what I mean. The tattoos don't have to have deep meaning, guys.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And I adore him. He's so cute.
That's
Does it
so
have
cool.
a name?
Just a smoking camel.
Just a
It's so
smoking
chill,
camel.
Smoking camel, yeah. And it's
Amen.
also, yeah, just it's like a memory of my time in Tel Aviv and in Egypt. It was a great time.
How's the weed in Egypt?
Yeah, it was good. The guy, I was there with a friend who smokes a lot of weed. He wasn't impressed, but like I was chilled. But I don't smoke that much weed. Yeah. So, but it was cheap. It was nice.
Incredible.
Cheap and nice.
Cheap and nice.
If you can
yeah.
get cheap and
It's
nice,
very
happy
chill time. Just
days.
smoking some weed with some camels roaming around. It's really interesting.
Sounds exotic.
Yeah, it was.
And strangely comforting at the same
It
time.
honestly really was.
Like that sounds like
Middle of the desert, middle of nowhere, just like smoking weed.
just that just sounds calm to me, although it really
was.
shouldn't.
No, it was. It was
No,
pretty calm.
it
It was,
sounds-
yeah, it was chilled.
Sounds stunning. Well, thank you so much for gracing us with your
Yeah.
presence and your time. And this was a really fun episode. I think we got to hop all over the place.
Thanks for having me. I don't know if
Um,
I answered any questions the way that they were
No,
should have
you
been
did.
answered. I feel like I just went on a rampage.
No such
Imposter
thing.
syndrome.
Ah, sorry, I
There's
answered them
no
like
Gotcha.
it should have.
Gotcha. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks
Thank
for having
you
me.
so much for watching and listening wherever you are on Spotify or on Apple Music or YouTube or
Mhm.
wherever, because it's available everywhere. Thank you so much for
Wow.
watching this episode of the CAYACast. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. What was the thing? Comment what color I should dye my hair.
Yes. What
Yes.
color?
Yeah.
Brad
And
should
what
dye his hair.
tattoos each CAYACast should get.
Yes.
Yes,
that's
and
such a
what
good
tattoos
one.
we should each get.
And go follow Oums on Instagram.
Yes,
and
come get some
TikTok.
tats, guys.
And yeah, we'll put all of her links
Yes.
Yay.
in the bio. You can go check out
What I
all of her
do.
various pursuits. Make sure you give us a follow on Instagram, and we will see you next week for the next episode of the CAYACast. Thank you. Bye bye.
Yay.